The Prime Minister has slammed Donald Trump for hitting Australian steel and aluminium exports with tariffs, labelling the move an unjustified act of economic self-harm. Tonight, those exports into the US are being slapped with duties of 25% after the White House confirmed Australia wouldn't be spared. Anthony Albanese says it's no way to treat a friend and partner. No country has been given an exemption, but the opposition says the Albanese government has let Australia down.
Driving his America First agenda.
We're going to get our jobs back and we're not going to be left at.
Donald Trump has cooked the free trade goose, slapping tariffs on metal imports with no exceptions.
Right now we're like a chicken that's being plucked at from all over the world. We're not going to let that happen anymore.
Out of time and out of options, Australia's Prime Minister hit back.
This is not a friendly act.
Against Trump's tariffs and what it means for the alliance.
It is not a positive step in the relationship.
Donald Trump had assured Anthony Albanese he'd give great consideration to a carve-out. Australia was spared the last time he was in power, much to the chagrin of the president's pro-tariff trade advisor.
When we were kind enough as a country to make those kind of gestures to our friends, they bit the hand that fed them.
Australia will keep lobbying for an exemption, pressing the point that American consumers will bear the brunt of Trump's tariffs.
Tariffs and escalating trade tensions are a form of economic self-harm. This is why Australia will not be imposing reciprocal tariffs on the United States.
In the context of an election, Peter Dutton made a bold pledge.
I do believe if there's a change of government that we will do a deal with the Trump administration. There's no question about that.
No country has been exempted.
After 6 dizzying weeks, the Prime Minister has tried to avoid public commentary on President Trump's global upheaval. But his decision to impose these tariffs, despite a free trade agreement and a trade surplus, was a bridge too far. The economic hit will be relatively modest, but the message is hard to avoid. Australia can no longer take for granted its relationship with its closest ally. Australia's steel and aluminium exports to the United States are worth around $1 billion a year, less than 1% of the total value of our exports. Even still, in Port Kembla, Australia's biggest steelmaker BlueScope disappointed by the tariff decision.
There are 3,000 families reliant on BlueScope here in the Illawarra, and there's 10,000 indirect jobs that are at risk.
I think this is a dog act after over a century of friendship.
For now, at least.
Remember, Trump is always right.
The president's not for bending. Jane Norman, ABC News, Canberra.
As Australia inches towards an election, the tariffs have put foreign policy and dealing with Donald Trump firmly on the agenda. With analysis, here's our national political lead, David Spears.
This tariff decision won't crush the Australian economy, but it still represents a profound moment for the relationship between the two countries. In fact, it's hard to remember senior government figures unleashing publicly quite like this on a US president. Unfriendly, unjustified, a dog act. Gone is the softly approach. The Albanese government is now talking frankly and warning this will erode public support for the United States amongst ordinary Australians. On the eve of an election, it's clear Labor believes voters are increasingly worried about Trump and want more pushback from the Australian leader. Peter Dutton, by contrast, is trying to lay as much blame as he can for this outcome at the feet of Anthony Albanese. His promise to change Donald Trump's mind should he win the election suggests he could do something no other world leader has been able to achieve. The government accuses the opposition leader of appeasing Donald Trump when he should instead be on the side of Team Australia. It's a taste of what's to come in the campaign. How to handle Donald Trump and best defend Australia's interests will be a prominent feature of this election.